Thanksgiving dinner. My mom gave everyone personalized gifts. When I asked if there was one for me, she rolled her eyes and said, "Oh, please. You should be grateful we even let you sit at the table." My uncle chuckled and said, "Be glad we still remember your name." Everyone laughed. I just said, "Good to know." A month later, they drove 4 hours to my apartment, pounded on my door, and screamed, "We need to talk. Please open up." So, not sure how to start this, once loyal. It's not like I've ever posted some family drama on here, but honestly, I'm just tired. Like literally drained from just existing around these people. And I'm not looking for advice or pity or whatever. I don't know. Just need to get this out, once loyal. It feels like I'm going to lose it if I don't. I'm Jude, 27, only son. Have 2 younger sisters. Whole extended family still lives around the same area except me. I moved out about 2 years ago, mostly because I just needed air. My family is like, not the worst, but there's this thing where I'm always the odd one out. Like I'm the one who didn't go along with the plan. Didn't live up to whatever they had in mind. Never really got why. Just always been that way. Oldest, but never the favorite. Anyway, this was Thanksgiving, so not that long ago. I don't know why I even went this year, except my mom started calling in September already about how this is the first time everyone's going to be there at once and grandma's not getting younger and the usual guilt trip. So I caved, drove 3 hours back, even took a stupid day off work so I could be there for the whole thing. I get there, it's whatever. People are all buzzing around. My Uncle Trent is already in the kitchen taking over like he always does. My sister Aurora is glued to her phone at the counter. Mom's running around trying to keep everyone in line, so nothing weird, just the usual chaos. But I start picking up on this weird thing where my mom keeps almost forgetting I'm there. She'll ask if Gail, my other sister, wants something to drink or if my cousin Mia needs help with her bag, but then when she passes me, she just sort of walks right by. And like, I'm not a needy dude, but it's weird. I'm standing there. She passes me a couple times. She bumps me once and doesn't say anything. And I'm just thinking, okay, maybe she's stressed, whatever. So dinner comes, everyone does the whole shuffle, sit down, there's not enough seats. So I end up kind of at the corner right by the old piano nobody ever tunes. And I'm next to Uncle Trent, who honestly I can't stand, but whatever. Everyone's talking over each other. The turkey's dry. Dad's already on his second glass and getting loud. Just classic family dinner stuff. I'm trying to just eat and not get dragged into the drama. But then after the food, my mom stands up and starts this whole thing about being grateful for family, blah blah. And then she says she has something for each of my special people. She starts handing out these little boxes, like actual wrapped gifts to everyone. Aurora gets one. Gail gets one. Even Mia and her brother, who literally didn't even come last year. My dad opens his and it's this ugly tie with his initials on it. Everyone laughs. Uncle Trent gets some bottle of fancy olive oil. There's candles and mugs and all this stuff with names on them. I'm sitting there thinking, okay, maybe she's saving mine for last or whatever. But nope. She finishes, sits down, and that's it. So I just look at her and I'm like, is there one for me? Not even trying to be dramatic, just genuinely asking. She rolls her eyes and goes, "Oh, please. You should be grateful we even let you sit at the table." And I just sit there like, damn. Then Uncle Trent, without missing a beat, leans over and says, "Be glad we still remember your name." Everyone laughs. Like everyone. Not even a single person looking uncomfortable. Just straight up laughing like it's the funniest thing ever. I don't even know what to do. I just stare at my plate. Aurora is smirking. Gail is looking at her phone. My dad is just laughing. And I just say, "Good to know." Not even loud. Just whatever. Nobody looks at me. I just sit there for another 10 minutes while they unwrap their dumb gifts. And then I get up, say I'm not feeling great, and leave the table. My mom follows me into the hall. She's like, "What's your problem, Jude? Why do you always make everything about you?" I say, "You literally left me out. How is that not about me?" She says I'm too sensitive. That I should be grateful I was even invited. And then she slaps my arm. Not hard, but just like to get my attention. I pull away. She slams the bathroom door and that's it. I grab my jacket, get my keys, and leave. Nobody tries to stop me. Nobody calls after me. I get in my car, just sit there for a second, check my phone, nothing from anyone. I scroll through Instagram. Aurora's already posted pics of her and Gail opening their gifts. I just start driving. 3 hours back to my apartment. Don't even remember most of it. Get home, heat up some noodles, just sit there in the dark. The whole time I'm thinking like, what did I do? Why is it always me? I know I'm not perfect, but I never did anything to them except not fit whatever mold they had. I paid my way through school. I moved out. I don't ask them for anything. But it's like the more I try to make my own space, the more they just freeze me out. I thought maybe it was just family being family, but nah. I talked to my friend Nova about it the next day, told her the whole thing, and she just goes, "Dude, that's not normal. You know that, right?" And I just kind of shrugged, but honestly it stuck with me like, that's not normal. I keep replaying it in my head. The way they all laughed like I was an inside joke. So yeah, that's where I'm at. First time I've ever actually said it out loud. But I'm done. I'm not letting them treat me like this anymore. No more playing along. No more pretending I'm part of the family just so they can have someone to crap on. I already started thinking about what I'm going to do. Not going to post it here yet, but let's just say they're going to wish they'd kept their little gifts to themselves. I'll update if people care. But honestly, even if nobody reads this, feels good just typing it out for once loyal. Update 1. Alright y'all, back for round 2. Because honestly, after getting that all out in the last post, I started thinking maybe I just let it go. But nah. Actually nah. The more I sat with it, the more I was like, why do I keep letting this happen? Like they made it clear I'm just the dude they keep around to fill the seat or whatever. Not actually family in the way they care about. And before anyone says, oh maybe they just had a bad day, no. This has been years. It's just usually more low-key. And not gonna lie, part of it is because I moved out and didn't follow the plan, which let's be real was basically stay close to home forever and pretend like nothing's wrong. And part of it is just the way my mom is. She likes everyone where she can see them. And when you go off script, she acts like you're something to be dealt with. My dad just goes along. Uncle Trent just likes to take shots at people. Aurora always needs someone to be weirder than her. Gail just follows the crowd. So yeah, whatever. So after that Thanksgiving mess, I just started ignoring the group chat. Missed a couple calls from my mom. She finally texted me like, you coming for Christmas? And I left her on read. Wasn't ready for the next oh look, Jude exists joke. I started noticing they'd still tag me in old family photos on Facebook just to keep up appearances. But not once did anyone ask if I was actually doing okay. Classic. Then about a week later I get a Venmo request from Dad for the family phone plan we're all still on. It's not even that expensive, but I pay his and Mom's part because when I moved out they said they couldn't figure out how to do autopay and it was easier this way. I'm the only one who actually pays on time, so I just eat it every month. That's when it hits me. Like why am I still basically funding their crap? Like I'm not trying to be petty, but if I'm so lucky to sit at the table, maybe they can be so lucky to pay their own bills. I decide I'm done for real this time. I text Dad, you need to put your card on the account this month. I'm not doing it anymore. He calls me immediately. Doesn't say hi, just starts in with, what's your problem lately? You acting like a child. You know your mom's been stressed. I just tell him straight, I'm not responsible for their stuff anymore. And he just huffs and hangs up. Then he texts, fine, be that way. So I go through and start peeling myself off everything. Family Netflix, cancelled my card. Hulu, same. Group Spotify, gone. I know that sounds like weak sauce, but that's just the start. I remembered my mom's car insurance is auto-drafted from my checking because he couldn't figure out the app. I cancel it. She'll get a text about it, but I don't care. I check my bank, Realize I've been paying small stuff for them for years. Instacart delivery for grandma, random Home Depot runs for my dad, even their RAA renewal last summer. All of it just me quietly covering because they always make these comments about how Jude has it easy, Jude's single, Jude makes good money. They don't actually know what I do, just that I'm not asking them for help, so I must be fine. So now I'm just sitting there realizing I've been the invisible ATM for years and nobody even notices unless something goes wrong. So I stop. I just stop. I don't even announce it. I just let them figure it out. That's when the calls start. First it's my mom, weirdly polite like, "Hey, did you change the insurance?" I say you'll have to handle it, I'm out. She gets mad, says I'm being selfish. I tell her I'm just matching the energy. She hangs up. Aurora texts, says mom's freaking out about the bills, can't I just chill for a bit? I say nope, not my circus. Gail tries to call, I don't answer. Then Uncle Trent calls, which is wild because he never calls me for anything unless he needs someone to help him move furniture or some crap. He says, "You know your mom is having a hard time. You're making things worse." I just laugh and say maybe she should have thought of that before making me the family joke. He calls me ungrateful. I hang up. He calls back and leaves a voicemail, mostly just ranting, says I'm not man enough to handle family responsibilities. I delete it. Now the group chat is blowing up. Dad says he can't pay the phone bill. Not my problem. Mom says she's going to call my bank and tell them I'm being difficult. I block her number. Aurora tags me in a Facebook post about selfish people ruining the holidays. I DM her, say she can block me if she wants, but I'm not coming to Christmas and she can tell Mom I'm not paying her bills anymore. She says you're being dramatic, it's just money. I say it's not about the money, it's about respect. She leaves me on read. Then something actually kind of funny happens. I see a screenshot in another group chat with friends, not family, that Gail posted asking if anyone knew how to set up autopay for a phone plan. Like deadass. She's just trying to crowdsource how to be an adult. I don't say anything, just watch it play out. But then it starts getting more real. I get a call from Grandma's landline. She never calls unless it's an emergency. She asks if I'm okay, says my mom's been crying about me, says the family's worried. I tell her I'm fine, just tired of being treated like an afterthought. She says, well, that's just how your mom is. You know she likes things her way. I just say maybe it's time someone else gets to have things their way for a change. She sighs, changes the subject, asks if I'm eating enough, the usual grandma stuff. Then I get a text from Gail, says she's sorry about Thanksgiving but she didn't want to get involved. I tell her you were laughing, so you were involved. She says it wasn't about you, it was just a joke, Mom was stressed. I ask her when is it not a joke? When do I get to be part of the family for real? She doesn't answer. I mute her. About 2 weeks go by. I start getting more random texts from numbers I don't know. Probably my mom using other phones. I block them. They tag me in old family photos again, acting like everything's fine for Facebook, but I can see the comments from family friends like hope you're all together for Christmas, and my mom replying oh yes, so lucky to have everyone home. Like what? Just straight up lying now. Then I start hearing from friends in town that my dad's been complaining about me at the bar, saying I'm too big for my britches now, think I'm better than them. I'm like bro, you literally told me to pay my own way and now you're mad that I am. Okay. Uncle Trent apparently told his bowling league that I'm cutting myself off from the family because I couldn't handle a joke. I mean whatever. At least they're not pretending to care now. Then my mom actually shows up at my apartment building, which is next level desperate. I get a call from the front desk says I have a visitor. I look out the window, she's standing outside, arms crossed, looking pissed. I don't go down. She waits about 15 minutes then leaves. Texts me after, says you're making this harder than it needs to be. I don't answer. The thing is, none of them actually want me back. They just want their ATM and their punchline back. I know that sounds cold, but it's true. You don't treat someone like that if you care. I thought maybe they'd get it. Maybe someone would actually apologize, but nope. Just more guilt trips and how could you do this to us stuff. It's all about how my actions affect them. Never about what they did. So yeah, I stopped paying, stopped answering, stopped showing up. I left them to figure it out for themselves for once. And not gonna lie, it felt good. Not like happy good, but like finally breathing my own air for a minute. I don't know what happens next, but I know I'm not going back to being their backup plan. If they want something from me, they can actually act like I exist for real, not just when it's convenient. I know some people are going to say this is harsh, but it. You can only get slapped so many times before you start blocking the hits. And yeah, this is just the beginning. I'm not done yet. If they want to play games, I can play too. And I promise I'm better at it than they are. We'll update when I figure out my next move, once loyal. Update 2. So I thought they'd get bored or just move on if I ignored them long enough. But nope. I swear these people have unlimited energy for drama as long as it's directed at keeping up appearances and making sure I play my role. I wake up one morning, get like 5 texts from my mom in a row. All, are you coming for Gail's birthday and grandma wants to see you? I leave them on read. I've got nothing left for that. Then it gets weird. My dad tries to FaceTime me, which he's never done in his life. When I don't answer, he leaves this long voicemail about how I'm embarrassing him in front of the family. Like what? I haven't even said anything to anyone. I'm not posting about them, not spreading stories. I'm just not paying their bills or showing up for the roast the black sheep hour, and suddenly I'm the villain. He says, "You want to act like you're not part of this family? Then fine, don't expect any help from us, bro." I haven't asked them for a thing since I was like 19. Then Aurora starts posting these passive-aggressive stories on her Insta. Stuff like some people don't know how to be grateful for family, and just because you have blood doesn't mean you have character. She blocks me after I like one of the posts with a laughing emote. Gail texts me, says I'm making things worse. Like for who? I ask her, you mean worse for mom because she can't get free rides anymore? Or worse for dad because he has to remember his own passwords now? She says I'm being mean, that I don't understand how hard it is for them. I tell her nobody's stopping them from treating me like an actual person. She goes quiet, then says I don't want to fight. I say then stop picking a side. So at this point I'm just over it, and I decide if they want to make this a thing, I'll make it a thing. I go back through my Venmo, my bank, my texts, and pull up every single time I've paid for something for them in like the last 5 years. I'm talking everything. Phone bills, insurance, random can you grab this on your way over stuff, groceries, Ubers for Gail when she went out too late, even paid for Aurora's dumb dog's vet trip when she couldn't afford it. I add it all up and drop it in the group chat with the receipts. I say, since you're also interested in what I bring to the table, here's the tab. I'll talk to you again when you've paid me back. Mom leaves the chat instantly. Dad sends me a text that just says, "You're dead to me." Gail starts typing then stops. Aurora sends me a string of voice notes, but I don't even listen. Next day my phone lights up with Venmo requests, not even from them but from other relatives I barely talk to, like Nova's mom, asking if I can help with holiday expenses. I just decline everything. Apparently Uncle Trent has told everyone I'm acting out because I couldn't take a joke. I get a call from Trent. I answer. He starts saying I'm embarrassing the family, that I need to grow up and stop acting like I'm owed something. I tell him nobody's owed anything, but I'm not paying people to laugh at me. He says you're going to regret this. Hangs up. Then my mom actually comes to my apartment again, but this time she brings my dad. Someone must have let them in because I hear them banging on my door yelling my name. I don't answer. I get a text from my neighbor says, "Do you know these people? They're making a scene." So I open the door a crack, tell them to leave. My mom tries to push past me. I block her. She slaps my hand away. My dad tries to talk over her, starts raising his voice, says I'm being disrespectful, says I'm breaking grandma's heart, says this is all about ego. I tell him I'm not your ATM and I'm not your punching bag. If you want to talk, you can pay your own bills and apologize. He says you're pathetic. Slams his hand against the door. I shut it. They stand out there for a while. I hear them arguing. My mom says you let him do this. This is your fault. Dad says he's always been like this. Why are you surprised? I just sit on the floor listening because honestly it's the most honest they've ever been about me. Eventually they leave. Later I see a post from Aurora about family being what you make it. I laugh. The next day Gail texts me, says Mom's not talking to anyone, Dad's furious, Uncle Trent is telling everyone I'm unstable. I say I'm not unstable, I'm just not playing anymore. She says you can't just erase family. I say maybe you can't, but you can make them pay what they owe. I start getting calls from unknown numbers. Some voicemails are just sighs or somebody rustling the phone. Others are people saying I'm making a mistake. I ignore them. My building manager emails me about complaints, says my guests were loud, asks me to keep it down next time. I apologize, say it won't happen again. So yeah, that's where it's at. They tried to play hardball but I'm not backing down. I've got actual receipts and I'm not afraid to use them. I'm not paying another cent. Not pretending everything's fine for Facebook. Not showing up to be the joke at the table. If they want to talk, they can pay up and treat me like a real person. Not sure what they'll do next, but I'm not worried. I've got my own life, my own place, my own friends who actually give a crap about me. If family wants to be part of it, they know what they have to do. I'm not holding my breath though. If anything wild happens, I'll be back. Something tells me I haven't heard the last of this. Not by a long shot, once loyal final update. So not gonna lie, I actually thought they'd just keep ghosting or maybe send some guilt trip cards or whatever, but nah. My family never goes halfway. They always gotta do the full drama. I figured after the last time with my mom and dad yelling in the hallway things would cool off, but then yesterday there's this weird calm. Like I don't get a single text from anyone. Not even the usual passive-aggressive FB tag from Aurora. I kind of started to think maybe they finally got it. Maybe they'd just stew in their own mess for once. Then I'm sitting on my couch mid-afternoon messing on my phone, just doom scrolling, when I notice a couple missed calls from Gail, which is already weird because she's been mostly quiet since the whole group chat breakdown. I ignore it, but then I hear this loud banging, like full-on pounding from the front of my building. I peek out the window and see my parents' car parked all jacked up in the fire lane, and I just freeze for a sec like nah, they didn't just drive all the way out here. But there they are. My mom, my dad, and no way, Uncle Trent. All standing at the front door with their arms crossed, looking like they're about to storm a castle. Next thing I get a buzz from the building keypad and they're yelling into the speaker saying we need to talk, open up, this is serious and all that. I don't even answer. Just watch from above. My neighbor Nova texts me, says you got a whole squad at your door, want me to call security. I say nah, let's see how long it takes for them to get tired. But of course not. My family's got stamina for days when there's drama to be had. So after like 5 minutes of them yelling, they finally get let in by some dude who probably just wanted the noise to stop. Then they're at my door pounding, like actually shaking the frame. I keep my headphones on for a second. But then I hear my mom. She's yelling, Jude, open this door right now. You can't just ignore us forever. My dad's trying to sound tough, says we drove 4 hours for this. You owe us a conversation. Trent is just in the back muttering about how this is what happens when you let kids run wild. I wait a minute, then open the door just a crack. I say, what do you want? My mom tries to push in. I block her with my foot. She hits my arm. Not super hard but enough to make her point. Dad looks mad like his face is all red and he tries to push his way in too, but I stand there just staring at him. I say we're not doing this inside. If you want to talk, you do it in the hallway. Nova is poking her head out her door too, just watching the show. Honestly, my mom starts off with, you're ruining this family. You're making everything about money. Grandma's been crying for weeks and how could you do this to us? Dad says, you think you're better than us now just because you moved out and pay your own bills? You think you can just cut us off and embarrass us in front of everyone? Trent says, you always were the problem, Jude. Always causing issues, never grateful. I just stand there and let them go for a minute. Then I say you all drove 4 hours to tell me I'm a disappointment because I stopped letting you make me your punchline and your ATM. Mom says don't you dare make us out to be the villains. You're the one who walked away. I say I walked away because you literally said I should be grateful just to sit at your table. Like what kind of family says that? Dad gets louder, says you're twisting things. You know your mom didn't mean it. You've always been too sensitive. I say nah, I'm just done pretending it's normal. You guys want help? Pay me back what you owe. You want me to show up. Treat me like I actually matter, not just when you need something or want to laugh at me. My mom tries to slap my arm again. I catch her wrist. I say don't do that. She jerks her hand away, slams her bag against the wall. Trent steps in close, real close, like he's trying to intimidate me. Says you need to grow up. Family comes first. I look him dead in the eye, say maybe you should tell that to the people who raised me. He shoves my shoulder. I shove him back, not even thinking about it. Neighbors are peeking out now. Someone down the hall is filming on their phone. Dad sees it and tells everyone to bring it down a notch, but my mom's already crying, says this is all your fault. I can't believe you do this to your own mother. I just say I can't believe you'd show up at my door and expect me to just take it like always. Then Gail calls my phone. I answer on speaker. She says what's going on. Mom said you were being violent. I say you're on speaker. Tell them what you told me last week about how you wish they'd stop making me the villain. She goes silent. Mom tries to grab the phone. I hold it up. Dad tries to slam the door but I block it with my foot again. Trent says this is stupid, let's go. He storms off, slams the stairwell door. Mom's just staring at me, breathing heavy. Then she says you'll regret this, Jude. I say maybe, but I won't regret standing up for myself. Dad finally lets go of the door and follows Trent, muttering about ungrateful kids. Mom stands there for a sec, looking at me like she wants to say something, then just grabs her bag and leaves. Slams the door behind her. I just stand there for a minute, then close my own door, lock it, and sit down on the couch. Nova texts, says you good? I say yeah, actually better than I felt in a long time. Didn't get any more calls that night. Saw on Facebook that Mom posted some long status about family being complicated. Whatever. Aurora commented love you Mom, you're the best. Gail hasn't texted me since, but I'm not chasing anyone. I don't know what comes next, but honestly I'm not worried about it. I'm done being their doormat. Done being the joke or the bank or the guy who just takes it. They can talk, cry, scream, whatever. I made my point. They'll have to live with it. And honestly, I hope they remember that drive home and every minute of it.